Okay, question 4. A program needs to make sure the value input for a measurement meets the following rules. The value is a positive number. A value is always input. The value is less than 1,000. So we've got 3 rules there that we need to ensure are applied to the number input. So part A, describe the validation checks the program would need to use. So let's take each one in turn. So we've got 3 marks, so we need to come up with 3 validation checks and have a description of how it would work. So the value is a positive number. So they're after numbers, so we can validate the data type. So if they were after a string, we could validate it differently, or if it was a boolean. So they're all different data types. But we're after a number. It doesn't say whether it's after an integer, and we need a whole number, or whether it needs to be a number with a decimal component, which would be a real number. But we can still validate that on data type. That's the check we call. So we can validate the user has entered a number with a data type. Check. Okay. A value is always input. So we want to make sure that something has been entered, and we call that a presence check. So there's either data there or there's not. If the data isn't there, then they have to keep typing. We keep asking them to type something in until they've typed something in. And actually, a presence check is always a handy answer to have for any validation question, because if you're asked a question on what validation method would you use to validate whatever the question is, presence check will always be an answer. But you could probably only use it once. So let's say use a presence check and ask user to type data until data has been entered. So I've given a little description there for that. And then the value is less than 1,000. So we know it's got to be a positive number, and we know it's got to be less than 1,000. So that gives us a range, so between 0 and 1,000, and we can use the validation method is called a range check. So let's go ahead and put that in. Use a range check to make sure a value between 0 and 1,000 has been input. So we've got 3 descriptions, basic descriptions of three validation methods. We've got data type check, presence check, and we've got range check. Let's see how we fare with the mark scheme. So range check with acceptable values. We've got range check here, and we've got the values that we're checking. Presence check to ensure the program will not continue until a value has been entered. So we've got presence check, and we've said ask the user to type data until data has been entered. Until data has been entered. So we've said that they've got to keep, it won't continue until they've entered data. We've said that. Great. And then we've also got data type, this one here, or character check to ensure a number is entered. So we validate the user entered a number. That's our first sentence here with a data type check. So yeah, I'm happy we've picked up the marks. They've also included a length check as well, because the number has to be between 0 and 1,000. They're basically saying that if you count the number of digits, the largest number that we should accept is 999. So as long as the number entered has no more than 3 digits or less than 4 digits, it's perfectly fine. So we call that a length check, so that's acceptable as well. Right, so let's stop this one, and then we'll talk about for part B.